What's going on, y'all? Back again. Finally had to do my own video. Y'all seen me, I've been out here, but I had to make a video addressing all the love and support, all the people who reached out to me while I was in jail, all the free Corys on Instagram, Facebook, everybody who just kept supporting me like they did on the outside while I was in jail. Even though it was a little petty 29 days, really wasn't about nothing. And oh yeah, I'm gonna go into tell y'all too, cause I'm sure the people be like, oh, y'all tape everybody, y'all interview everybody. What happened? Why was he? I'm gonna tell y'all why I was in jail. Alright, so about 4 years ago actually, this was back in 2009. I came out to Atlanta for Thanksgiving. So, long story short, I went to a party, the party got canceled. I left some stuff at a friend's house on the west side of Atlanta. And I had to go to my mother's house because it was getting too late. So public transportation in Atlanta was shutting down late. So long story short, I hopped in a cab. So I get in the cab, it's a London British driver. So I'm telling him that I don't have all the money, that I probably won't have enough money. Like anybody who know Georgia, well, the city of Atlanta, Atlanta's in Clayton County. Even though it borders on the outskirts, it's still kind of far. So he talking to me, telling me, all right, how far? It's far, just going off, and I'm telling him, all right, look, it's not too far up. You just have to go down this long strip. So the tab was on about like $78, and he seen a long dark road, and he was like, oh no. So he pulls over and tells me that I have to pay him, and I don't have enough money on me. So I got a bag with me. I don't really have everything, but I wasn't gonna run. I wasn't committing no crime. I was just basically trying to get home, and my mother was gonna pay the rest once I got home. And he ended up calling the police. I didn't run because I thought the police was gonna take my side. But Clayton County is a broke city, so they'll do anything for a little bit of cash. So all right, I got locked up. I get put on probation. Now I did like 10 months on probation. I had about 2 months left, and my phone's ringing. Y'all hold on. Hello? Alright, come on. Give me like 5 minutes. Alright. So, whatever the case. Whatever the case, they put me on probation. I did like 10 months. I had to pay restitution and community service. Everything was good. I just owed the community service, which I did at a church, and they didn't accept it, so they wanted me to do it like a Red Cross or something, and I got violated on probation. The people was coming to my house a couple years ago while I was living out here in Atlanta, and I was just blowing it off, and I kind of forgot about it because they weren't coming to me, they was coming to my mother's house. And 3 years later, pop up in Atlanta, slid down there from Baltimore, coming from Honeycomb's event. Shouts out to you. I'm so sorry too, by the way, that I prolonged the clips. Got kind of sidetracked, but I'm so sorry. I slide down there, and it's funny. I work at Club Inferno, which is a club in Atlanta, and the next day I'm going to show my friends. So while I'm walking, I got the camera around. Mind you, I'm wearing a wife beater, shorts, and some Pradas, and I have a book bag, a fully loaded equipped camera bag, and a camera around my neck. And our cameras are kind of expensive, so the police out there just shiesty. So they stopped me. They was already out the car. It was like 6 cars deep. They were out the car, so they seen me. They was like, what's going on, officers? They was like, you're a photographer? Immediately, I already knew what was up, but I forgot about the warrant. So I was kind of on my Brooklyn swag. I'm like, yo, yeah, I'm a photographer. They was like, oh, what do you do? I'm not freelance. I'm like, but I work with Atlanta Daily News from time to time. And it was like, Atlanta Daily News? It was like, you have a car? I'm like, nah. I'm just playing. I work for the New York Times. They was like, the New York Times? I'm like, yeah. So they was like, oh, you got to have a card. I'm like, no, I don't have a card. Me being a smart ass, I didn't even have ID on me. So they was like, oh, we need to see the cameras. Before they even asked me for ID, they was like, oh, it was a report of robbery in the neighborhood. Where'd you get those cameras from? How'd you get them? I'm like, how'd I get them? I'm like, the same way you got everything in your house is the same way I got my cameras. The exact same way. You worked hard, I worked hard. It was like, even though my uncle helped. So, but I was like, yeah, same way you got everything, it's the same way I got everything. So they was like, all right, we need to see those, we need to run the cameras. I'm like, all right, go ahead. They run the cameras, everything come back clean. So they asked me for my name now. As soon as they asked me for my name, it flashed in my head immediately. I'm like, shh, I got a warrant. So, you know, you still gotta play it cool just in case I get locked up. So I get locked up, all right. Now I'm in jail, I'm very upset. So, you know, I make the routine phone calls, my uncle, my mom, my sister, my father, you know, call people who you know help get you out of trouble. So I did that, I get in jail. Now, I got some stories for y'all while I was in jail too. It really wasn't hell, 29 days, but it was still like, one thing I didn't think was gonna happen, that I was gonna know anybody in there. Like, as far as, like, I kind of grew up in Clayton County. I lived in Clayton County for about almost 10 years. So anybody that didn't know, I kind of grew up in Atlanta / New York. So my roots originate from here, from Brooklyn, but kind of grew up out there. Whatever the case, I'm in jail and somebody actually tapped me on my back and told me they knew me from Ballroom Throwbacks. And a CO knew who I was. So let me tell you about the CO. So listen, Officer Martin from Clayton County Detention Center, thank you, but no thanks, because I don't feel like jail is a place to pick up dates. Whatever the case, I was in the cell and he kind of fake came on to me because he told me he knew who I was, but I'm gonna leave that at that. Let me tell y'all about my bunkie. This nigga, alright, once I came to solitary confinement, when I came in, I got like drafted to work with them to get off like 6 days early. I would have came home. I came home on July 16th, but I would have came home on July 10th. So I started working for the kitchen. So during me working for the kitchen, I ran into a lot of people I went to high school with, a lot of people I knew like growing up and stuff. I was actually with people in the kitchen, so I'm talking to somebody I knew. And a lady that works in the CO's kitchen was listening. And whatever the case, she went back and told the sheriff, the warden of the jail, that we was conversating about him, and because he got charges against him, Sheriff Victor Hill. But whatever the case, she went back and told him. They came and got all 4 of us and took us to the hole. So the hole is the box, solitary confinement, locked down 23 hours a day. You get almost barely, if they cool, 1 hour rec. So I'm in there, and they put me in a room with somebody. And I noticed immediately, like, the room is filthy, and they let you clean the room every day. You get to sweep and mop and wipe down everything every day. I'm talking about dust balls and lint for days. So I'm looking like, golly, like, why this shit so filthy? So immediately he's just like, I noticed too that he's pacing all day. Like, the whole day he paces. He wakes up at like 6 a.m. after they do count and paces all day. Spits in the toilet and he talks to himself like he gives himself motivation, like he ups himself. Like, it was funny. So, all right, this is funny. I don't know if I want to tell you this. Oh, let me tell you. Look, all right, I'm sleeping. So I'm sleeping. He talks to himself. So I didn't know like if he was like talking to himself or he was addressing me. But I hear him like, "Hey, bro, you gay?" I'm like, what? So he was like, yeah, you gay. So I'm like, what? So I'm like, I ignored it. I totally paid it no mind, like straight up, like, he can't be talking to me. So the next morning, he wakes me up again. No, he don't wake me up, but he wakes me up talking to himself. But I'm up now. He's talking to himself. And I think we was getting lunch or something like that. And he was like, hey bro, you gay? I'm like, what? But he wasn't saying it like, I don't know if people were taking it as like, I'm saying it like he was coming on to me. No, it was none of that. He was saying it like are you a faggot? Like he was like, I'm like, son, are you gay? Like, don't play. I'm like, son, are you gay? He like, nah. He was like, oh, nah, I was just asking. I'm like, alright. So whatever the case, the next like 2-3 days passed. Like 2 days passed. Cause I was only there with him for like 4 days. Yo, this nigga has the audacity to touch me and wake me up. Woke me up. Like, hey, bro, you gay. Like, I can't be in the same room as you. I said, what, son? I jumped off my bed. I said, son, you ever touch me again? I said, son, you ever address me about any gay shit or touch me again while we in this room? I said, son, because he kept ranting about, oh, I don't want to catch you charging. I'm like, son, you touch me or you address me about any gay shit, bro, don't even talk to me. I said, son, you gonna make me beat you up in here? Like, seriously, we both gonna get a new charge, or you gonna go, like, something's gonna happen. I'm sitting there ranting and yelling. People in the hole knew what was going on. It was like room 12 getting it on. So whatever the case, we in a room, I'm thinking to myself, like, is it really worth it? Because I'm about to go home in like 10 days, like 2 weeks. I had like 14 days at the time. I'm like, is it really worth it catching the charge over him? So I'm like, alright. Because I kept talking to my mom and my uncle, and they was like, yo, please don't fight. Please don't get into nothing. I'm like, alright. So I'm like, alright. And plus, I already knew he was coming from prison. He came from prison on a new charge. He had to go back to prison. So basically, I rationalized the whole situation and came up with the perfect solution, which basically was not fighting. And left it at that. I told him that, what happened?
I'm about to cut off.
It's about to cut off? We running out of time? Alright. I wanted to tell him the full story. I wanted to tell him everything. Go to the second story?